Hello and welcome to another episode of Anime Fridays. Today I'd like to look at anime I watched quite recently called Scum's Wish. Peculiar title, but it's easier than the Japanese version, which I'm going to try and pronounce and get horribly wrong. Kuzu no Honkai. Kuzu no Honkai, or no Honkai. Scum's Wish. Wow, this was a good one. 12 episodes long, so it's not massively. It's not like one of these big massive seasons. So it's quite manageable. It's based on a manga of the same name. Um, it's 8 volumes long. So I'm gonna be reading that at some point. I like to read both manga and watch the anime. Prefer watching anime first because that's easier. Well, not easier. I can read. It's more the case. It's easier to digest over a short period of time. I like to take my time when I read manga. Get a feel for it. But when it's on TV, I'll binge it, and that's what I've done with Scum's Wish. Um, so high school, as always. But this time, I mean, it is well, not typical, but it is a love story, as is a lot of anime, or certainly anime that I watch. I like watching things like that, and it's focused around the main character is called Hanabi, and this is the she's a girl, obviously, and um, she's the main protagonist, and she hmm, best way to describe this without getting a bit weird. She basically is in love with her teacher, her homeroom teacher who would be the person who would take the register in the morning. There is a reason for it, and I will get into that a little bit later. But so yeah, so she's the main character, and she's the very very basic part of it is she is infatuated with her teacher. The other main character is a guy called Mugai. I cannot do these Japanese names. Muggy. I'll call him Muggy. It's Mugi or Mugi, Mugi. And funnily enough, he also is in love with his teacher. So we've got two main characters who are both in love with each other's teachers, or their teachers, their same teachers. So that's pretty much how the story goes. Hanabi is quite obsessed with this guy, and the reason for that is because she grew up with him. He was a few years older than her. Obviously, that's why he's her teacher. And he was there for her through difficult periods of her life because they lived very close together and their families were quite close. So she looked up to him as this sort of guy who would look after her, look out for her, just a really nice guy. And he he was a nice guy to her, but I think when we're watching the anime, you sort of see how this could be misinterpreted as love from a different point of view. As you'd love a brother or a sister. This is, she's taking it as more if she would love her partner, and that's a key element in this anime. She really just wants to be with this guy, but she's scared to ask him out because age difference, and it would probably be quite massively illegal. Miggy, on the other hand, he's uh, infatuated with his teacher. And his teacher, just for reference, I should have told you this before. Hanabi's teacher is, let's see, what was his name again? His name is Narumi, and Mugi's teacher is Aniki, Aniki, Akane, Akne. I'm really going to have to take some sort of Japanese class to learn all these names. Anyway, so Mugi, the reason why he likes Aniki is because back in the day, when he was younger, she was his tutor, so she was a few years older than him and like taught him stuff at school. They were in the same school, and she was a couple of years above him. So yeah, and he, fell in love with her when she was doing a lot of tutoring. She was helping him with exams and so on. So that's kind of where we are with this at this point. From there, the what they do is Hanabi and Mugi team up, and they decide that until they can't get the people that they really want, so they start this sham relationship with each other. So they pretend to be with each other, and pretend that each other are the people that they love. So that's really weird. I think. Well, not weird. Well, weird in the sense of why would you do that? Why would you, you know? But this is I think this is the main point of Scum's Wish, to show how much love can really change somebody, or change them for the worst, and why it is called Scum's Wish, because this is their wish, to be with people that they can't be with. And yeah, that's really it. I mean, going into the story too much would cause too many spoilers. But it's very good, because it shows like a real life portrayal of what would happen in real life if you try to do this, as the seasons progress and the characters get more fleshed out. Each of the characters, so the main two, Mugi and Hanabi, and then Narumi and Akane, and we see what they're like, like in their personal life, that how they are. So that's really quite good. So that's really the sort of main story. I mean, there's a lot more that goes on, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone who actually wants to watch it. It's not your typical love triangle as it would be in an anime. Like one guy loves two girls love one guy. It's two people who love two people that they can't be with, and there is barriers, and I think that is quite realistic in some ways. I mean, I don't think every person fancied their teacher growing up. Maybe they did. Maybe I was just one of these people who didn't. But so that's kind of where we are with that. Um, visually, it's very good. A lot of dream sequences. A lot of what they do is, what I've found really good with Scum's Wish is they have it in panels sometimes. Kind of like if you're reading a manga. So if you read manga, you'll know that each page is panels with a drawing, and then to depict the characters and what they're doing, and that happens sometimes, and throughout the episodes, like it'll break away or break up, and there'll be like a transition where there'll be like a still image of the characters, and then it'll go back to doing to normal. And also, if they're doing flashback scenes, it could be black and white, or different colors represent different points in their life, which is really cool. Um, the story the story is really good because it focuses both on Hanabi for a while, and then it focuses on Aniki, not Aniki, sorry, Mugi. So Mugi has his own thing, like 3 episodes we only see him, and then Hanabi has a thing where we see her episodes for quite a long time. So there's quite a lot of character development. Um, yeah. So cons, what would I say? Oh, well, I mean, I suppose it's just it kind of gets a bit silly, with Mugi, especially. I found that his character has a lot going on with him that it doesn't really fit. I'd say, but I think that's kind of why they done it. They wanted to make it a bit unbelievable, like, oh, no way he would do that, but that that's happened. So there's a few cons with Mugi's character. Um, it's a very solid anime. I only have watched I don't know if there's a dubbed version. I watched the Japanese version. Um, I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. Um, yeah, really well done. It's very stunningly good. Like I said, it's very unique in their panels. Um, very good, visually. The characters don't look too stereotypical. They've got their own sort of style about them, which is nice. A lot of animes that I've watched don't really have that. A lot of them are quite stereotypical and samey. They look like they've all been drawn by the same guy, but this one's a bit more. It's a bit different. There's little unique things that you don't usually see. So I liked it. I liked it a lot. Um, yeah, and I think it's just like it boils some emotions, like not of ang like a bit of angry. Oh, that really annoyed me. So I like that, and I like it when a piece of art can do that, which is why I've reviewed it in the first place, because I just think it's a well worth watch, and yeah, I would recommend it to people. I mean, even people that aren't fully into anime, maybe not complete beginners, but people that do appreciate it enough to sit down and watch 12 episodes. I'd say go for it. Okay, cheers.